Hi, I'm Phyllis Winters. Welcome to this week's live Q&A for the Illumination Group. Today, I want to talk about integrations, and then I also want to talk about a March Madness special that I'm running for not only the members of the group, but for other people if you know anyone who might also be interested. But first of all, let's start, excuse me, let's start with integrations. As you know, tech is my jam. Tech is what I do day in, day out. And if I wasn't doing it for my job, I would be doing it for fun. So it is my thing. What I am really excited about with the online world is that you can integrate systems that normally don't work together. Back in the day when software was starting to become more popular on personal computers and online, you really had to struggle. And if a system didn't have a function built in, you were either going to have to find a different system with the function that you wanted included, or pay somebody to write a program to connect the two systems that had the two pieces that you needed to have done. I'm so happy that now in this day and age, most programs understand that they are not the be all and end all, and they don't meet everybody's needs. So they have either built-in integrations where they recognize that a large portion of their user base will also be using this system or that system, and they will build right into the two systems an automatic way for them to talk to each other. And then there's this company called Zapier that has said, okay, and for everybody else who isn't playing nice, we're going to provide the bridge. So we're going to let you connect two systems that do not intend by design to talk to each other. Zapier is going to connect them. And the way it connects them is through an API, which is, there's different codes that are used. There's a key. And what that is an API key means it's a code and it's almost like a password that lets the other system know that you're authorizing the one system to talk to the other system. And it's the API keys that Zapier uses to make that work. So that's the high end of all the tech talk. But I want to also talk to you about a couple other ways of doing it. Hi, Dinah. Hi, Ravina. Thanks for joining. I'm so glad to see you. And other people, I can see there's more people here, but I don't see who you are, but welcome. And again, today's subject, the subject that I plan to talk about is integrations. I'm going to run through the things I want to talk about real quick. And then if you have other questions, I'm certainly happy to take whatever other questions you might have. Okay, so let's talk about systems like, for instance, I'm going to talk today, I'm going to show you, because I use ClickFunnels and I use Keep Max, which used to be called Infusionsoft, and I use Stripe, and I use I use Schedule Once, and I use different systems that a lot of you probably use the same systems, or at least if you don't use ClickFunnels, you use Lead Pages or Funnel Gorgeous. And if you don't use Schedule Once, you use Calendly. And if you don't use Keep, then you use ActiveCampaign or MailChimp or something. So I'm going to be talking and demonstrating with the systems that I use. But I want you to know that what I'm showing you can be done in all of the systems. I just don't have all of those systems on my computer to show you. So first of all, let's talk about, I'm going to share my screen. Give me a moment. And let's see here, share my screen. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start by looking at ClickFunnels, which is a system that a lot of people use. Now, and the same thing with ActiveCampaign or Lead Pages or whatever you're using. There is a setup that you have to do at the account level. So if I'm going to, for ClickFunnels, I'm going to go over here and highlight or hover over my account settings, and then I'm going to right click and say open in a new tab. And this takes me into my ClickFunnels account settings. All right, so down here, you're going to see two things that I'm going to talk about today. One is the integrations. Now, integrations, this is where, now I did have a test ActiveCampaign account in November. It looks like that's the day. I took the 1 week or 2 week free trial because I was teaching a workshop on ActiveCampaign, and I needed to have it active on my system, obviously. So, but I normally use ClickFunnels and Infusionsoft. So the first step in doing any integration is to tell the system that you're working in what it is you're trying to connect to. And you do that at the account level. So in other words, you can't put an integration on a ClickFunnels funnel if you haven't told ClickFunnels that you have that integration available. So the account level setting is something you have to do in all of the systems that you would integrate. So what you do in ClickFunnels is you click on add a new integration. And then what it's going to do is it's going to ask you, remember I mentioned earlier, those API keys and API links. These are the systems that they have set up that they expect that you might want to integrate with. So most likely any system that you're using will be in here. So you would just click on whatever the system is that you're using that you want to integrate with ClickFunnels, and then it will ask you the right questions for whichever system you are using. And then when you've got it, then once you do that, you will have the integration set up. So let me just click on one of the existing integrations so you can see. When you say you want to create a new integration, this is what happens. You name it, you get this API key, that is over in the ActiveCampaign. And in the ActiveCampaign, if that's what you use, it's under, on the left-hand side, it's under developer, which again, I guess that makes sense. But since most normal users don't consider themselves developers, sometimes people have trouble finding it. In some places, in other systems, it will be under the word integrations, which makes more sense. But wherever it is, what you're going to get is the API key, and this is like a password, and it's a key like it unlocks the connection. And this API URL, this is the URL, which is the web address of your version of the software. So my version of the software for ActiveCampaign, this was it's specific to my company, and this is the password. So it's kind of like a login if you want to think about it that way. Okay, so then you would do also, if you're going to use more than one system, you would add them all here. The other integration that you've probably done quite a bit yourself is payment gateways. Now in ClickFunnels, it's called payment gateways, and in other systems, it might be called something else. So in here, you'll notice that I have my Stripe account, which again, when I set that up, it's going to also ask for the API key, which is the password. And it's also going to ask for the API URL, which is the path to your account in Stripe. I also have Infusionsoft set up as a payment gateway because I run all my payments through Infusionsoft so that all of my accounting ends up in one place and I don't have to go scoop it up when it's time to do my books or do taxes. And I also have PayPal set up as another payment gateway. So those are different types of integrations, but they are in fact an integration. So I just wanted to show you where that is and how that works. Okay, so once you have them set up at the account level, whether you're in ClickFunnels or Lead Pages or Kajabi or wherever you're working, once you have them set up, and actually now that I just said Kajabi out loud, the only thing you probably have to integrate with Kajabi is a payment gateway because they do have, they have the CRM and they also have they have the page generator. So there's not as much integration that's required with Kajabi. But in any event, once you have it connected at the account level, when you come in ClickFunnels, when you come in to a step or a page in a funnel and you click on edit page, there's two different ways, well, yeah, at least two different ways that you can do this connection. In here under settings, you'll see integrations. And I don't do it this way, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then it asks, in the drop down, it asks you, what do you want to integrate with? And this drop down here, this is being pulled from that account level list of integrations. The thing that we just set up over here, whatever you have in your integrations at the account level, that's what's going to tell ClickFunnels what your choices are. Now, as it happens, the ActiveCampaign built-in integration here actually, from what I understand, is much more reliable than the one that they have for Infusionsoft. You'll see that it does let you choose Infusionsoft, and then it asks you, I don't do it this way, and let me tell you why. Because back in the day, and this is probably, it's a little bit urban legend and a little bit true. Back in the day when ClickFunnels was first starting, Russell Brunson was using Infusionsoft. And he obviously, because his company was very big and he had tons and tons of users, and he and the people that were running Infusionsoft at the time had like a gentleman's agreement. I'm guessing it was probably more formal than a gentleman's agreement, but they had an agreement that when one of them made an upgrade to their system, that the other one would make a corresponding upgrade to their system so that these built-in integrations would continue to work. And the urban legend is at one point that Russell Brunson was at, I believe, the Icon annual Infusionsoft user event, and he got into some kind of an argument with somebody at one of the speakers there, and it just became a little bit of a spat, and he basically said, well, then to heck with you, and maybe we'll keep up with those updates and maybe we won't. And now that, again, I don't know if that's true, but that's the rumor that I have heard, and doesn't really matter what caused it. The truth is that this doesn't work consistently, and sadly, even if it doesn't work, it doesn't give you an error message. So the only way that you will know that it didn't work is somebody will either message you or email you or call you and say, hey, I just did thus and so, and I didn't get whatever it was I was supposed to get. And then you'll go into ClickFunnels and see, oh yeah, they're in there. There's their email. And sometimes it's even with a purchase. They'll buy the thing that you're selling, and then nothing happens because the integration that was going over to Infusionsoft or Keep didn't actually happen. So for that reason alone is enough reason to not use this built-in integration. Now, it so happens that for Keep or Infusionsoft, there's this other option, this null HTML form. And if you choose that, then it says, what do you want to do? And you're going to say, I want to integrate an existing form. Now that existing form is over in Infusionsoft. So see, right, and this is why I don't recommend this to the faint of heart, because it's really not difficult, but sometimes the HTML code thing is just makes people get nervous and anxious, and it's easier for them to just use Zapier. But I'm just going to show you how this works in case you have a moment of courage. It really is pretty cool. So it's asking right here for my HTML code. So over here in Infusionsoft, here's the web form that has the same fields, the first name and the email. Those are the fields that I'm collecting over here on the ClickFunnels. And I want to do this type of an integration, which means when you run this form in ClickFunnels, it's only actually going to be shown in the ClickFunnels window. What's really happening is this form over here, which is in Infusionsoft or Keep. And the way you make that integration is you click on this code tab and see this HTML code unstyled. You click on that, and then here's the copy the code button. So you copy it, and then you come over here into ClickFunnels and you paste it. Now, of course, because nothing can ever just be straightforward, there's some extra code at the end of this that is going to cause you trouble. You have to stop this form. See, this is paste web form code. You have to stop this at the form. Now there's more in there, more code. So you have to come down here and delete that code. And then this, if you then do parse and save this web form, this will now, when you run the form in ClickFunnels, it will actually be connected over to Keep. So that is a HTML code type of an integration. Like I said, it's not really difficult, but it does seem scary, particularly if you don't normally do any code. So another cleaner, easier kind of way to solve that problem is with Zapier. And Zapier is a system that all they do in their life is connect systems that normally wouldn't connect to each other. So over here, this is a Zap, and I'm going to just pull this up and just show you what's in there so you can understand how that works. It's going to take things that happen in ClickFunnels, and let me show you real quick. And it's saying what makes me start this zap, and I say, oh, it's this funnel, this checklist, solve the tech puzzle. That's the one I'm in. And then which funnel step? It's the confirmation. So you tell it what action in ClickFunnels is supposed to be integrated, and then you tell it, what do you want to integrate it with? I want to integrate it with Keep. Now they're calling it Keep Max Classic is the new name of Infusionsoft. Okay, so then you come in here and then all you do is you tell it what action do you want it to take. And you want it to grab the name of the person and the email and what tag, and the tag in Infusionsoft or Keep tells Infusionsoft what the person did over in ClickFunnels. And then what it does is if that person is not already in your Keep contact list, it will create their record in Keep. And if they are in your record, in your contacts already, it will just add this tab. So that is how Zapier works. And that is honestly easier than that HTML from one point of view. But when you go to create a Zap, it does seem a lot more intense than you might think. So there are a lot of people who say, you know what, I'd rather learn the HTML because all I have to do is copy that code and put it in there. And they find that to be less stressful. So I'm just showing you in the world of integrations what some of your choices are and how some of those things work. And the other thing that you need to think about, and I always say that when you're starting your business or starting to automate your business, it's so important for you to sit down with a piece of paper and map out the functions of your business. In other words, what happens, who does it, when do they do it, what is supposed to happen, and don't even look at technology until you map that all out. And then once you map out the functions of what it is you want your clients to go through, what it is you want your team to go through, once you know what the functions are, then and only then should you be looking at systems and looking at technology. Because sometimes I think we're all a little bit guilty, and we're in different Facebook groups, we go to different webinars, we see different things online, and we go, oh, that'll work for me, that'll work for me. And I'm going to confess, guilty, I paid for Webinar Jam and EverWebinar I bought a 1-year subscription, which was non-refundable, and I didn't use it for almost 7 months. So, and then I jumped ship and I went to Webinar Ninja and also paid for an annual subscription. And actually, that worked really well, except that the quality of the videos were not good for me. Now, I've got some people I know who use Webinar Ninja and they have great results with it, but it didn't work for me. The point I'm making is make sure that you know what functions need to happen in your business before you decide which software is going to work for you. And while you're doing those functions, you're going to be able to see really clearly on the paper where you're writing out your ideal client's ideal journey. What experience do you want your clients to have? And when you map that all out, then you know what needs to happen with your technology. And that way you can choose the right systems, and then you know from looking at the functional flow what integrations you need. And I think what happens with a lot of new business owners is they just jump in and they buy ClickFunnels, or they buy Kajabi, or they buy Lead Pages, and they buy Keep or ActiveCampaign or Schedule Once or Calendly, and they just go buy whatever it is the last person who talked to them told them was the best. And then they try to make it work before they even figure out what functions they want to have happen. And if you figure out your functions first, you're going to be able to tell whether that system that somebody told you is the best thing in the world. Well, when they tell you it's the best thing in the world, it's the best thing in the world for them. It doesn't mean that it's going to be the best thing in the world for you. And you won't know either until you map out all your functions. And when you're done mapping out those functions, that will also tell you what needs to be integrated. So that is my little short and sweet little spiel about integration, which I wanted to just talk to everybody about today. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is I am running, as if you're in the US, then you know the word March Madness. in the US, college basketball playoffs are conducted in the month of, well, it's the NCAA tournament. And at the end of the tournament is the national NCAA basketball champion. So back in the day when people went to offices and worked, there would be office brackets for picking the team that you thought was going to win in March Madness. It's just kind of a thing, particularly if you live in the United States where it's cold during the winter. By the time March rolls around, everybody's pretty tired and sick of winter, and it's something fun to do. So when you hear the word March Madness, that if you're not from the US and you don't recognize what that means, that's what it means. So it's just a phrase that means like it's something fun to do in the winter. And my March Madness special that I'm running is I normally have a 3-hour block of time that I sell as to my clients, and it's a done with you situation where you decide what thing it is you need to get done with your technology. And we do it together. We do it on a Zoom call just like this. You share your screen with me, and then you let me drive. And I do all the work if you want me to, or I can help teach you while we're doing it. But in any event, when the 3 hours, and it's actually 3.5 hours for the first session, because we take the first 30 minutes to map out what we're going to do. But then at the end of those 3 hours, you've got several of your pieces of technology installed, set up, connected, integrated, tested. And you also have the video of us doing it together. So that's the beauty of the done with you. You get it done, but then by having the recording, the next time you need to set up a funnel, or the next time you need to do a Facebook ad, or the next time you have to do an an automation in ActiveCampaign or Keep, you don't have to pay me for more time to do it because you've got the training video that I recorded while we did it the last time. So normally that 3.5 hours is $9.97. And I have my March Madness, which is only 1.5 hours, but it's for only $300. And the $9.97 is steep. That's a hard number for some people to reach to. But I'm hoping that some people who thought the $9.97 was out of reach will find the $300 reachable. And for that $300, we will get whatever you want done that we can do in an hour and a half. And I also want you to know that I work really fast because I know this stuff inside out and backwards, because you might say, whoa, an hour and a half, it took me 3 hours to do some little thing and it's still not done. The hour and a half is me doing it and teaching you how to do it. So normally in an hour and a half, we'll get quite a bit done. Like last week, I worked with a client and we set up her Stripe. We connected her Stripe to her ClickFunnels. We connected her ClickFunnels to her ActiveCampaign. We created the automation that drove from her ClickFunnels. We connected her Calendly calendar, and we did it all in an hour and a half. So that's my point. So that's my March Madness special. And I will be posting about that some more in the group. So if you're interested, let me know. And it's only for March, and it won't be back again until next March. But I do understand that even though the $9.97 is still a bargain because you get so much done and you have the training, I understand that that's a lot of money when you're just starting out. So this is to help you get started, get a lot done, and at a more affordable price. All right. Well, I am through the things that I wanted to talk with you about today. Does anybody have any questions? Hi, Carol. Nice to see you. So does anyone have any questions? I'm looking in the comments. And just so you know, when you type a comment, I don't see it instantly. There's like a little bit of a lag. Like when I talk, there's a little bit of a lag before you see what I just said. And there's a little bit of a lag for me to see anything that you might type, any questions that you might ask. All right. Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to sign off, and I will see you guys again next week. And again, you don't have to wait till next week. If you have a question or a problem between now and next Tuesday, drop it in the group and I will jump right on and answer it for you. And if it's something that you need help with, if you join next week's live using the Zoom link, you can share your screen right here in the live, and I can help you fix or adjust or whatever the problem that you're having is right during the live Q&A next week. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. It's so nice to see you guys one week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.